Well, hello guys. This is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great video for you today. And I'm excited because today we're doing something a little different. We are going to have our Monday reading of House of Flesh, but I am going to be opening some friend mail after this. So definitely stick around for the friend mail. I'm excited to share some things that came in the mail. Let's see who's tuning in. I see Barbie is here. Hi, Barbie. I love your name, Punk, Funk, and Junk. That's so fun to say. So Barbie is joining us. Make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. That does help me greatly. And I see Elba is here. Hey, Elba. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're tuning in tonight. We have so many great folks in the community, and I'm always glad that you tune in to another reading of House of Flesh. I'll tell you what, this book is just getting better by the minute. It is so good, and this chapter is gonna shock you all. I'm just here to say. Hi, Maria. Thanks so much for joining. And Mary R is here. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I'm going to give some time for folks to come in. I hope you all are having a great day. It has been a really rainy day in Jacksonville today. Let me grab a little bit of water here. Let's see who comes in the stream. Now, I am having some issues with my microphone tonight. For some reason, my microphone doesn't want to connect to my computer, so let's hope that my audio coming from the computer is good. That is my hope. Hi, Proud American. Welcome, welcome. Okay, let's see. So if you have been following the series, we have a fantastic book called House of Flesh I've been reading from the 1950s. And this is by Bruno Fescher, or Fleischer. I don't know how you say his name. But what's really cool about this is a gold medal book. And gold medal books changed the publishing industry forever. They really changed the way things were done, and they have a fascinating history. So if you love gold medal, I definitely recommend doing some more research. If you love these kinds of books, gold medal is a great one to look into. And this book was published in 1950, and this is the first printing from 1950. The pages are a little worn, but it is just really such a great book. I've been enjoying reading. And this is a Fawcett book. And Fawcett, you can do a lot of research into him, but really fantastic things on the publishing industry and how they change things. And just the whole history of books in general is fantastic. Angela is here. She's cleaning stuff. Angela, she called me today and we got a chance to talk for a little bit, and she found some amazing things at the thrift store. So I think Angela's going to be doing a live later. So we want to tune into that because she found some amazing things. I was just gobsmacked over what they have at the not the antique stores, but she was at a Goodwill. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're finding this at your Goodwill? Hi, Tia Fane. Thanks so much for joining. Proud American says it was some dude trying to blackmail the main character. Yep. So Proud American is following along with the story. Hi, Annette Fane. Thanks so much. Yes, he did want to throw a basketball game to keep the affair hush-hush. That's very true. Hi, Fatbird Fine, saying thanks so much for tuning in. I think it's Laura because I don't see the orange bird. Yes, published 71 years ago, which is absolutely amazing, Tia Fane. So if you guys have been following this book, you know that our main character is having an affair with one of the prominent doctor's wives in town. He's a veterinarian, and there's some rumors that he may have killed his ex-wife, and that's kind of been going around the town. And our main character, who's a basketball player from New York, has come here to just kind of get away from things for the summer, and he's fallen in love with Dr. Doan's wife, and they have been having an affair. And of course, then there's some other people in the town that are kind of getting into the nitty gritty of things, because it's a small town, so everyone gets all the gossip and they meddle. And just as Proud American was pointing out, George Wellman from the main general store in town, wants to throw basketball games and get into all of that stuff with our main character. So that is interesting. There's definitely a lot in this book that's happening. So we got to find out some more. Yes, there was some adult fun in the last chapter, Teofane. The last chapter was really, really saucy. But if you do research into the 1950s, you will find that to us, what we think of the 1950s, we think, that it was a little bit more conservative, but there was a lot going on in the 50s I think would be very shocking to a lot of people. So definitely do some research into the 50s and then again into Fawcett Publishing and Gold Medal books, because they really were the first mass produced paperback books that were accessible to people. Because at the time, up until then, there weren't paperback books. I mean, there were paperback books given out to the soldiers in the war, pocket books. And of course, they were very, very small. And the margins on the side of the pages were little because they were trying to conserve paper during that time. And then you have a lot of hardback books, but those were expensive for people. So now with these gold medal books, they really were the first mass produced paperback books that allowed people to be able to purchase books and get into the world of reading, and it was a lot cheaper. And these books kept coming out. And Fawcett himself was the first to invent one of those spinning racks, magazine racks. That was all his invention. And so it's really fascinating. I'll link a good video down below of a gentleman that collects these gold medal books, and he's got the whole history, and it's just amazing. I see Christy's joining us. Hi, Christy. Yes, I saw you were calling me. Christy and I usually chat on her way home, but I'm live, Christy, so I'm here, but I'm glad you're tuning in. Hi, Poodle, my buddy Poodle's in the chat. I'm so glad. I would sneak my parents' books. Oh, you would, Poodle. That's hilarious. I love that. I want to know what you read. Well, we're about 7 minutes in, so I think we will go ahead and get started with the reading. And then I'm going to open some friend mail. So you want to stick around for the friend mail and, of course, for the saucy book. Now, we were in chapter 13 last week, and we are now in chapter 14. So this is very, very exciting. There's so much happening in this book. Now, I do not read ahead, and I cannot be bribed. So if you guys want to know what the next chapter is, you have to tune in to next week on Mondays at 7 when I do the readings. I only read a little ahead, a few minutes before the live. So I don't really know what's going to happen until right before the live. So I can't be bribed to tell you what's going to happen next. Hi, Chrissy. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yes, just in time. And you're going to email me on that awesome Poodle. I love getting Poodle's emails. So many of you guys email me, and it is just marvelous. I love getting to chat with all of you guys. All right, so we are in chapter 14 now of House of Flesh, and we were in chapter 13 last week. So if you missed last week's reading, you can go back and catch up on that. All of these are live to watch on my YouTube channel. If you ever do miss a couple of chapters, you can get caught up. So we are going to start with House of Flesh, chapter 14 right now. Bill Hickey and I started the search at the clearing where Maxine had brought me the bones. I thought I remembered she had come from the sumac, but I wasn't sure. We started in at the woods because it was easier. Tall oaks kept the ground fairly clear of undergrowth. We moved slowly in the widening semicircle. 100 yards from the clearing, we gave up that area because I doubted Maxine would have strayed so far from me, either to find or to bury bones. We tried the patch of sumac beside the knoll. Bill had managed to bring his car to within a quarter of a mile over the murderous, overgrown road that had evidently been unused for years. It was the state's car, so what he did to it didn't bother him. We went back and returned with a brush hook and without the gun belt and Stetson. Taking turns with the brush hook, we hacked past through the sumac. After a while, he paused to wipe his sweating face and loosen his necktie. A police uniform was no outfit for hard labor. Boy, we are getting nowhere slowly, he complained. This is a job for a crew of men. Why not bring them? And look like a fool when we don't find anything. Hey, I saw 2 bones. That ought to be reason enough. He scowled at me. You're pretty anxious now, you 2 weeks after you saw them. There was no answer I could make. I took the brush from the hook and set to work. Bill watched me for a minute and then pulled his way ahead through the sumac. The growth was younger near the knoll, and I could see his shoulders as I hacked away. "Harry!" he yelled. He completely disappeared from sight. I made my way up the track, and his body crushed through the sumac like a miniature bulldozer. He was kneeling some 15 feet from a rocky slope of the knoll, which at this place rose almost vertically. About him was a small, bare, churned up area, like an island in the sumac. "Here," he said, pulling something out of the ground. It looked like part of a small plow, but the color was dirty and gray. It wasn't metal. "A hip bone," I said. "Yeah." Bill's cheeks had turned the color of dirt-encrusted bone. "There's a shovel in my trunk. Go get it." I ran. The bones kept for 2 years, and they would keep a minute longer, but I ran to the police car and took the shovel from the trunk and ran back with it. Bill was scooping up dirt with his hands. Another bone lay behind the first, this one long and thin. "I'm no expert," he told me, "but it looks like a femur." "Is that from a leg?" "Yeah. Where were the bones your dog found?" "A finger and part of an arm, I think. Maxine must have dug them from out of this spot, but I doubt if she'd have buried them in the same place." He took the shovel from me and dug slowly and carefully, remembering how small one of the other bones had been. I squatted beside the widening hole and shifted each shovel through my fingers. 3 or 4 feet down, the shovel struck rock. He scraped it with the edge of the shovel. "Ledge rock," he said. "It's all ledge round here, for God knows how far down. Sometimes it's just up to make a knoll like this one. That's why the grave wasn't dug deeper. Can't build a cellar without blasting." Guess he figured the sumac would grow over it, but the animals kept chewing up the ground to get at it. His voice broke at the last part. "Well, that's what was buried here." I asked, "Does Doan's property run this far?" "It must, because he thought of the old Leonard place, which ran to the other side of this knoll. The land was never good for farming and not much better for a pasture. That's why Doan couldn't buy it. He bought it for a song." He paused and added bleakly, "with the money Alice saved up from teaching." And he buried her on his own property to make sure that no one would ever dig here. "But animals dug," Bill said. "Maybe his own dogs." He resumed shoveling, widening and lengthening the hole, scraping clean the rock base of the grave, while I examined the sandy earth he brought up. "That seems to be all," I said, "not counting the 2 bones Maxine hid somewhere else." "And no clothes." Bill climbed out of the hole. "Animals wouldn't dig and eat and tear, but they wouldn't want the clothes. There should be scraps of clothing somewhere." "He must have buried her naked. Maybe if he had left the body dressed, animals wouldn't have touched it." I took out a cigarette. The match shook. "Or maybe his stories would have it. He let his dogs at it first, then buried what was left." Bill dropped the shovel and picked up the 2 bones. Standing with one in each hand, he said, "2 weeks ago you found bones, but you didn't open up your yap until today." I didn't mean anything at first. Then I started hearing stories about Alice Barton, and after a while I put 2 and 2 together. For that matter, what have you been doing with Alice for these 2 years? "I didn't have a dog that found bones," he said tonelessly, and moved through the sumac. I gathered up the brush hook and the shovel and tagged after him. When I reached the clearing, he was sitting on the rock on which I had sat when Maxine had brought me the other 2 bones. He was running his handkerchief over his heat-flushed face. I said, "Bill, were you in love with Alice Barton? You were, weren't you?" He blew his nose and put up the handkerchief. "Who's been talking?" I guessed. He shrugged. "It's no secret in town. We were engaged. And then Alice went away for summer vacation and came back married to Doan." Bill's powerful hands turned inward on his knees. He said nothing. "You've never married?" I went on. "As far as I know, you haven't got a girlfriend. Have you been carrying the torch for all this time?" He raised his head, and his face was loose and bitter. "Yeah. 2 years after marriage, she and Doan were suddenly gone. And when he returned, he had another wife. Alice hadn't resigned her teaching job. She hadn't even sent for a record. Rumors started." But you did nothing, not as a man who loved her or as a cop. Stories, he said heavily. Wacky stories about dogs. Why wouldn't a man have killed his wife when he could have just divorced her? We know now there must have been another reason. Yeah, we know now, but after all, she was engaged to me and she went off and married that Doan without telling me. How did I know she wasn't that kind, going from man to man? How did I know she didn't find another guy in Florida or somewhere or leave Doan for him? So it was a matter of pride? Pride, he echoed, tasting the word like acid on his lips. Hasn't a man who's been kicked in the belly right to be proud? Wasn't I supposed to go whining after her or something like that? Wasn't anyone in the village anxious to start an investigation? Harry, it's a proud little community. They didn't want an unpleasant notoriety or perhaps a big murder trial, New York reporters, and all that jazz. Officially, they were satisfied with the divorce story. I started down and stared at the bones. All that was left was Kenneth Doan's first wife. Seemed so little. Now you know what happened to her, I said. You can't prove anything, though, can you? You can't prove that Alice was buried here or that she was even murdered or even that she's dead. Abruptly, he stood up. I'll prove it. But how? He picked up the bones and looked bleakly at them. The identification experts do great things these days. Maybe these are enough for them to tell the age and sex. That'll be a starter. We returned to the car. As I drove back, I said, the bones Maxine found must still be around if other animals didn't get to them. There were many bones at the beginning. I'm coming back with more men. When? This afternoon or tomorrow morning. Well, let me know and I'll help. He held tightly to the wheel as the car bumped over the road. You stay out of it, Harry. This is strictly police business. That was all right to me. I was in it as far as I cared to be. He stopped the car at my bungalow. Another thing, he said crisply. Keep this under your hat. Understand? I understand. He drove with the bones, and in the bungalow I stripped off my sweaty, grimy clothes. My knees were shaking. For a long time I stood under the warm shower, and for the last 30 seconds I let it pour down, ice cold. I came out gasping and rubbed myself down. My knees had become steadier, but now something jittered hollowly in my stomach. Too much was piling up. I'm no good at convincing. I couldn't take in stride being the sneaking lover of a married woman and putting the finger on her husband for murder because I wanted her all to myself. I went into the kitchen to make coffee and found that I was out of it. My refrigerator was practically empty. 5 days since I had been shopping. I couldn't put it off any longer. I shaved and dressed, and when I was in denims and a t-shirt, I stripped down again to my underwear and put on my white shirt and a necktie and my gray suit. I hadn't gotten dressed like that since I left for New York. I drove several miles before it occurred to me that I should have packed a small bag, at least with pajamas, a toothbrush, and a razor. Didn't matter much. I had no clear notion of where I was going or for how long. All I wanted right now was to get the hell away from everyone and everything in North Set. Well, guys, that is it for this chapter. I think they found Mrs. Doan's, I should say, Alice's body. And oh man, that Dr. Doan, he's a little weird. I don't like him one bit. And this is definitely an interesting chapter. So we have to find out next week what they do with the bones and if they prove that they are Alice's. Because I think that Dr. Doan is a shady, shady person. That's just my opinion. Hi, Bob. Thanks so much for joining. Bob. And I see Dana's tuning in. Hello, Dana. And Annette Fain. And let's see. Yes, he found that grave very fast. Thank you, Poodle. I'm glad you were waiting for this, Bob. Yeah, Bob was telling me because Bob loves these books and he's got a big collection of them. And he was telling me that he thinks in the next couple of chapters, they're going to find something or someone's going to get murdered. And Bob, you were right. At least she didn't end up in a Jello mold. That's right, Bob. Oh, that would have been horrible. Yeah, very, very shady. Thanks, Proud American, again for tuning in and joining. Let's see. He says those bones could be used to make gelatin. Well, I don't think that we want to have that. That would be the worst kind of Jello. So, guys, tune in next week for the next chapter. We'll be in chapter 15, and I can't wait to finish reading this book because there's so much to see. Now, I do have some friend mail, so stick around, folks, for that because I'm going to be opening some friend mail now. And I see Sharon saying, came in at the tail end. We'll rewatch. Thanks, Sharon. I appreciate that. Yes, hope Louie doesn't. Yeah, I don't want her to dig up any femurs. We don't want all of that. That would be a mess. All right. Oh, thanks, Bob. Okay, so I've got some friend mail, folks, now, and I'm very, very excited to open all of this friend mail and share it with you. I just feel so spoiled. I say this every time, but I truly mean it. I feel so spoiled because so many of you send me such sweet things in the community, and it's just amazing. And I love getting these special treasures. So thank you all for sharing this with me. The first thing that I want to share is something that was bought off a Patrick sale, Trusty Huckster Mercantile. And Patrick always does such a great job with these little cards. And this was a gift from Victoria H. in the chat. And this was on Patrick's sale. And I just thought it was so cool because it goes along with my office theme. So we've got a little container for rubber bands and paper clips. And it's just so great because it's got the little divided compartment. And actually, this will be perfect because I needed something for rubber bands and paper clips and things like that for the live sales to kind of organize this thing. So this is going to be just fantastic. And along with this came a letter holder. And I believe that this came out of Patrick's personal collection that he got from Vintage Vinny, and then he passed it along. So I'm very excited about this. This is so fun, and it's going to be a great little addition to my collection. So thank you so much. And I really love that, Vicky. So thank you for this sweet little gift, and of course for Patrick for mailing it safely over here. Yes, I think so. Angela be buried by friend mail. People are so sweet, but that letter holder is fabulous, and it's going to go right in my lockers here. I don't know if you can see, but I've got lockers right here, and I store all of that kind of office-y stuff in one of the lockers, so it's going to be perfect to corral all of that. And you'll just see the top of my fedora. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. Okay, so the next friend mail, let's do this one, and then I'll show you the other one. So this came in, whoops, I'm dropping things here, folks. This came in from Mid-Century Maven. Now, Mid-Century Maven has an amazing Instagram channel, and she has two channels. So she does Vintage Jewelry Maven and then Mid-Century Maven. So she's got two Instagrams, and this is Susie. And Susie was on my live show a few weeks ago, and she did a wonderful job showcasing her vintage jewelry. So if you missed that show and tell, go back and watch it, and definitely go follow Susie on Instagram. I'll try to go back after this live and link her channel down below. But she sent me this wonderful little piece of jewelry. And look how cute. She's got a little starburst wax seal. I mean, this is just fantastic. And she's got her little vintage jewelry Maven on the front. And then in the card, it reads, Katie, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm always up for talking jewelry. Love the content on your channel. Enjoy this small gift and wear it well. Susie Toon, Mid-Century Maven, and Mid-Century Jewelry Maven. So this is so sweet of her. And she wrapped it up so nicely. Look how this little bow is. It's so cute. I love when you guys do this with the little packaging. And she sent me an enameled flower. This is my first enameled flower. So I can't wait to wear this. I'm very excited about this. This is going to go really well It would even match this shirt, I think. But it would go so well with my new Jello Emporium shirt. So I'm very excited to wear this. This is fun. And look at the little velvet line in the box. This is just so wonderful. Thank you so much, Susie. I love this. It is amazing. And then the other thing that came from Susie is something that I believe Michelle at Comfy Cozy Living got for me and had it sent to me. So let me open this up. Yes, amazing. It really, really is. That is just so cool. Hey, Carrie, how you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I'm thinking about you, Carrie. And oh, thank you, Angela. She put in Mid-Century Maven's link. I appreciate that. Yeah, that is really, really awesome. My next book should be House of Brooches. I like that, House of Brooches. Now, this, I believe, came from Michelle, Comfy Cozy Living. And look how beautifully this is wrapped up. And she's got all these fun little stickers. I love when people include package toppers. And then here's her information. So there's Susie, Mid-Century Maven. And then she put this. Isn't this adorable? It says just a note. And it's got the little starburst and then the little music note. So I'm going to save that because I just love that little thing. And she says, Katie, this is from Michelle. Katie saw this and knew you had to have it. Michelle, Comfy Cozy Living. And this is so cute. Her little packaging is to die for. But I have never seen a brooch like this. And this is pretty amazing. This is made from a vinyl record. I mean, how cool is this? So it's a piece of vinyl, and it's got the little beads, like the faux pearls, and then your little brooch on the back. Now, this is just like so incredibly cool. So I have never seen anything like this. So I can't wait to wear this. I don't know how they must have melted it to get this twisted part at the bottom, but this is so fun. And I always look for brooches to wear on my vinyl videos on Friday that are kind of music related. So this will be really fun. So thank you, Michelle. I just love that. This is fantastic. Okay, so let me organize myself a bit. I don't want to lose all the notes. I try to keep all the notes together. Very unique. I know. I was like, I've never seen such a thing like that. It's very cool. I've seen the record bowls and record clocks, but I've never seen a record brooch. So that was pretty exciting. Now, this is such a sweet gift that came in from Sarah over at Thrift You. And I have to say, Sarah packaged this so well. She created this little cardboard sleeve, which I've never seen anybody do this, but I think this is a really good shipping technique for things like this. And she included it wrapped so nicely. And then what she sent me is awesome. This is a Bakelite stapler. Now, I had no idea they made Bakelite staplers. I've seen other Bakelite things, but this is a green Bakelite stapler. And how cool is this? This is an Ace Liner stapler. And I mean, it's just so kind of deco looking. And what's neat about this is you press this button and you can open it to put the staples in up at the top. And then on the back, it's got the little handle. So you can also, I can't do this one-handed, but this part comes out so you can also load the staples in. So this is really cool. And I've got staples for this. So I am going to be using this because I always love staplers. I love office things for some reason. And this is going to be fun. And it's perfect. So I always love staplers. That is just so cool. And that green color. It's like, wow, I've never seen a green color on a stapler like this. So this is just very, very cool. So I'm excited about that. Yes, love my Art Deco too, Poodle. You and I are soul sisters in Art Deco and records and things. So that is really, really cool. And then, if that weren't cool enough, Pamela Blanchard is so sweet that she sent me this, and I know exactly where I'm going to put it, and I can't wait to show you guys on Instagram. But I had been looking at a taxi cab sign for the longest time. Now, I don't know why I love taxi cabs. I think because I love New York City. I've always loved taxi cabs, and I thought that It would be so cool to have a vintage taxi cab sign that was actually on a taxi cab. Well, lo and behold, look what comes in the mail. Pamela Blanchard was so kind. She found a taxi cab sign. Now, I have never seen one of these in the wild, but how cool is this? It's probably from the late 60s, early 70s, and it's got the little, let's see if I can do this so that you can, there you go. You can see it's got the magnet. So this would magnetize onto the top of the taxi, and then you run this through the window, and it's a cigarette lighter, so you can plug this into your car. Now, this is just so cool. Now, I have a transom window that I cannot wait to put this in. So I think it would be really cool. Now, I've got to figure out how to convert it so that I can light it up at night, but that's just so cool. And she says, Katie Bug, thank you so much for all you do for my channel and for being a wonderful friend. Love you, Pam. And I love you too, Pam. And this is just such an amazing, amazing gift. So thank you so much, Pamela. I love it. I love it. I love it. That is so awesome. Now, I'm also going to share some friend mail from Michelle Peterson. Now, I shared this over on Instagram. One of the things Michelle sent me, and I've actually already put some of the other things into my display, so you'll have to go check Instagram. But Michelle Peterson is so sweet from the chats, and she sent me this beautiful Monet brooch, and I just think that this is stunning. She also sent me 2 10s, which I've already put into my displays, and I've shared it on Instagram, but she thought that this would be really cool on a hat, and I agree. So my next hat, this one already has, let's see where I'm going. This one already has a little buckle on the side, but I've got another hat, a black hat, that's an Adams hat, and I'm going to put this right on the side. So I think that this is really cool. So that was from Michelle Peterson, and I love it. I love it so much. Oh, no worries, Bob. You have a good night. Thanks so much for joining. So I can't wait to do that. I think that's going to be really cool. And she sent me a drill bit 10. Now, I have never seen a drill bit 10 in person, but she sent me a Pluto drill bit 10 and a typewriter ribbon 10, which I'm so, so excited about. So thank you so much, Peterson. I love that. Now, Alex over at Chapter 2 Vintage Co. found some really special things for me. And when we met up in person, she gave these to me, and I just love them so much. The first thing she found for me is a really cool Coca-Cola bottle. And I think she said she dug this from the ground. And this is from Live Oak, Florida. Now, I've talked about this, I think, before on my channel at some point, but I love the Coca-Cola bottles that are from smaller areas that, are really unique. And I love Live Oak, Florida, and I think that this is just really cool. So I'm very, very excited about this one. I don't know the date on it, but it's definitely got age, and I can't wait to add this to my Coca-Cola. I don't know if you can see this, but up here, on top of my lockers, I've got a yellow 1940s Coca-Cola crate, and this is where this bottle is going to go. So I'm very excited about that. And she also found this. Now, this is just the coolest packaging. This is a Witch automatic needle threader. And I mean, come on, look at that packaging. Just so amazing. You guys know me so well because you know how much I love my advertising. And I really do. So this is just spectacular. And if you open it up, it's got the little needle threader inside, which I just think is so cool. I've never seen one like this. And look, it's got even more cool graphics on the inside. So this is something that could go in my ephemera bowl. And look how awesome this is. So this is actually something that's really, really handy because I cannot thread a needle to save my life very well. And about all I can do is sew on buttons. I am not a seamstress by any means, but I love this. And I think it will be really cool next to my great-grandmother's sewing machine that's down here. I think I've showed this before, but there's my sewing machine from 1916. So I'm very excited about this little thing. And Alex is so sweet to think of me. I can't get this back in the box just so, but I'll work on that after the live. And she also sent me a few other things. And I can't believe she found this. This is just so cool. This is an RCA Victor 10, probably from the 70s or 80s, but it is so cool because I love anything with that nipper graphic. And I thought, how cool would this be to actually use as like a sewing tin or to put something in it? Even like maybe Louie's toys would go in here. I mean, this is just such a great storage container featuring nipper. So the graphics on this are to die for. And this is modeled after this yellow color. There's a record needle tin that I have that has nipper on it, and it's got the yellow and black. So this is really cool. So I can't wait to do something with this. I don't know what I'm going to store in it yet, but it's going to be handy for something. And then Alex found me these. Now, I love Coca-Cola things. And these little tin signs are so fun because a lot of times Coca-Cola signs from the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they're expensive. I mean, they're like thousands of dollars. And so I like these little tin signs, these reproductions, because they're kind of nice. You can hang these up and they don't cost a lot and you still get the cool graphics. So this is quality you trust, continuous quality. Now, this is modeled after a 1940, I want to say 48 or 50 ad. I actually have this ad hanging up framed in my bedroom, but what I don't have is the one with the Sprite Boy. So he is cool. And the Sprite Boy was only around during the war to use as a way to brighten people's spirits. So the Sprite Boy wasn't around that long for Coke. So it's pretty cool when you find things with the Sprite Boy, even if it is a more reproduction piece. And then this one says, have a Coke. And this is just so cool. Look at the little Sprite Boy. He's just fun. So these came out, I think, yes, 1995. So these are kind of cool. And I'm going to find some place to hang these. They would look really good in my bathroom and that gallery wall. So I'm very, very excited about that. That was a good find, Alex. You guys know me so well. Angela thinks he's creepy. Well, the Sprite Boy is a tad creepy, but he's just so iconic for Coke, And I think it's really cool that they used him only during the war and then he went away. So I think the history behind the Sprite Boy is pretty cool. Now, the last thing that I've got two more things to share. And let me grab this over here. Hang on one second. Let me grab this. Whoa, I'm knocking everything over, folks. It always happens to me during a live. So Patrick included this, and I think I shared this before, but I don't know if I have or not. This was a little gift from Patrick, and it's Your Ideal Mate. And Patrick had these on his sales, and I just think they're so cool. This is from 1945, and I can't wait to put this in my ephemera bowl. So these are like vending machine cards or boardwalk cards. I think you would have gone to a machine and put money in, and then you could have gotten one of these out. So I just think this is so cool. Really good for Valentine's Day, but I love the houndstooth pattern on it, and I really think this is so fun. Just a great little piece of ephemera. So this says, Your Ideal Love Mate. It says, Your ideal love mate will add a little spice and salt to everyday living. A good wife, she guards her sweetheart appeal. A clever homemaker, she surrounds herself with eye appeal, and she knows that a happy marriage to survive demands a design for living. And that in design, there is a low place for dullness and maddening monotony. So I think this is fun, and this is just a really neat little piece of ephemera. So thank you so much, Patrick, for sending that my way. I love that. And the last thing that I got came from Misty over at Thrifter Junker Vintage Hunter. She sent me this really, really neat little pig, and I'm going to tell you a story about this pig. So it says, if there were more people like you, the world would be a whole lot brighter. Having trouble with my words today, folks. So this is a cute little package topper. And then she included this 4-leaf clover card. I love these little single playing cards. I don't know why. They just bring me a whole lot of joy. So that's a lot of fun. And then Misty always has the bright, happy wrapping. Now, there's a story to this. So a few months ago, I posted on my Instagram a picture of a pig card, very similar to this playing card, that Misty had sent in one of my packages. And I was so excited about it because it reminded me of the little pig that my grandparents had. Now, they still have this pig, and my grandmother is still using it for her money, but it's a little piggy bank. And my grandfather got it when he was working at the church. He was a pastor, and he was doing some sort of, I don't really know what his whole purpose was that he needed the pig, but he needed the pig to do something at the church. Anyway, I think they were done with whatever was going on at the church with the pig, and it came home, and they've had it in their house forever. Little piggy bank. And it has flowers all over it. And it's just, I don't know. I've always loved the pig. And I told Bibi, my grandmother, I said, that pig, I got to have the pig. I love the pig because I'd go in their room as a kid and see the pig. And it was just so happy, something about this pig. Now, the whole rest of my family thinks it's the ugliest pig that they've ever seen. But I love this pig. So when Misty sent me that card, I told her, oh my gosh, this is just like the little pig my grandparents have. And it just made me so happy. Well, then she sends me a message and said, is this like the pig you seek? Well, here comes the pig. So that's my little story behind the pig. Yes, Christy, I sure can. Ephemera bowl. Yes. So I have, let me go grab it. I can show you the pig, and then I'll open Misty's thing, and then I can show you the other pig. What I'm talking about. So my ephemera bowl, for all of you guys that I keep talking about ephemera bowls, I have my great grandmother's bowl here. It's a berry bowl. And what I've done is I just fill it with ephemera. I just keep adding all this ephemera to it. And I think it's so fun to just have this on your coffee table. And then people come in and there's all this fun graphics and ephemera and all of this fun stuff. So I just keep filling this with little odds and ends of pieces. And this is the card that Misty sent me. I had the pig with the flowers that made me think of my grandparents. So anyway, so this is the ephemera bowl that I was talking about. And I'm going to go set it down because I'm always terrified that I'm going to break that bowl. So I'm very protective of the bowl. So anyway, that is my ephemera bowl. That's what I do with it. And I just think it's fun. Yes, a bowl on my table with her stuff. Yes, exactly. That's it. No, I'm not talking about a real pig. I'm talking about a ceramic piggy bank. And I wish I had a picture of it to show you. I have to get my grandmother to take a picture of it and send it to me. So Misty had this pig, and I haven't opened it yet because I wanted to show you the pretty wrapping. But this is exactly like the pig that my grandparents had. Of course, theirs is ceramic and a little bigger. But this one it's almost identical to it in design anyway. And Misty, I just love this little guy. Do not ask me why. But yes, it has little flowers on the side. And he's little chubby faced and he's so cute. Look at him. I know, but I just love him. He's darling. And he reminds me so much of that pig my grandparents have. It just makes me so happy. I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, I've always loved the pig. Yes, you need one of those, Chrissy. They're awesome. I love ephemera bowls because you can just start sticking random little things. I mean, all you need is little, pieces. Like even I've saved the inserts for things like this. This makes for a great ephemera bowl, or you can put it in flower frogs. But like little, things like this and this, they all go so well together. And Patrick's card, you can kind of just start layering them in there and they just look fantastic. So I think it's a fun way to display ephemera. I really quite like that. So yeah, so all of these sweet treasures came from everyone in the community. I'll try to link everybody's channels down below if I can get a chance to put all of that in and I can find everybody, but I'll do my best so you guys can go subscribe. Angela was putting in the link for Jewelry Maven and Mid-Century Maven. Susie, she is fantastic, so definitely go check her out. I can't get all of this back together while I'm live. I shouldn't even try. That's impossible. Sometimes, things just don't want to go back in the box the way they were, but I'll get that after the live and I'll get it displayed. And also I'll take some more pictures for Instagram and share with you guys. Thank you, Dana. I really do appreciate that. Yes, the little pig is darling. He is cute. He just reminds me of that pig my grandparents had, and it just, I don't know, it makes me happy. This Coke bottle that Alex sent makes me so happy because it's White Oak, Florida, and it's just so fun. And the taxi cab sign and the brooches and all of the fun things you guys send, it just really does brighten my day. So thank you so much for thinking of me and sending me these wonderful things. A couple of things going on before I jump off here is it is 7:44, so don't forget that Tim over the years will be having his live sale with Josie Ma Dukes, and it's just going to be so fun. He's got some really, really amazing items up for grabs, and he's just so knowledgeable. So I love Tim. George, the Antique Nomad, will also be on, so I usually do split screens at the same time. George has his premiere at 8 o'clock, and he is so knowledgeable. I always learn so much from Uncle Professor George, so definitely go check him out coming up next. And then at 9 o'clock, yes, Angela's just typing this into the chat. At 9 o'clock, Angela and I will be going live sharing a haul with you all. So it will be on her channel, and she is going to be sharing what she picked up today from the thrift store. And let me tell you guys, you don't want to miss it because she found some things that left me gobsmacked. I'm like, Angela, we don't find these things here. So it was pretty amazing. So I'm so glad. Oh, thank you, Barbie. I appreciate that. Well, you guys are just so awesome. And again, you never have to send me anything, but if you do, you can always reach out to me. My email's down below, and I can give you a good address for friend mail. It's just so sweet when I open up notes and things from you. It just makes my day, my whole week. It makes me so happy. So this was great, friend mail, and I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. And I'll be back next week with chapter 15 of House of Flesh. You want to tune in for that. And this Wednesday, I have a special guest on my show and tell. We're doing things a little differently, but I have Dawn from the Just One More Dachshund Rescue on, and she's going to be showing all of her little doggies. So we got to tune into that and go support the dogs because they need our help and our care. And so I'm excited to have Dawn on for a special edition of Show and Tell with the dogs. So we want to stay tuned for that. And guys, I will see you all later. I'm going to jump off, grab some dinner, put everything away, and I will be on Angela's live at 9 o'clock. So tune into all of that. And of course, everything else going on, Tim's sale and George's premiere. And remember, no Vintage Rescue Squad tonight, but I'm sure there's other things going on in the community. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, that is it for me. And I hope, as always, you will stay in, stay safe, and bend YouTube. Bye-bye now.